for the opening of our first office in Tennessee. This event is highly symbolic for two reasons. This year, we are celebrating 60 years of Orano in the United States. We are one of the oldest nuclear companies in America. Now we operate 15 manufacturing plants and facilities across 10 states. But today, we're adding a new state. We're adding Tennessee. And we will be here in the United States and in Tennessee for another 60 years at least. Last Friday, President Trump signed 4 executive orders that will restore US leadership in nuclear energy. By streamlining the licensing process, by accelerating the deployment of nuclear reactors, and by restoring the nuclear industrial base, the actions of the Trump administration is charting a course to accelerate the deployment of new reactors that will power our nation's future. That future starts here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, with the deployment of the first small modular reactor in the United States at Clinch River by TVA, the first advanced reactor ever built in America with a Hermes demonstration project by Kairos in Oak Ridge, and with our new enrichment facility, our Project ARC, that will provide the fuel necessary not only to the existing fleet of nuclear reactors, but to the generations coming of future reactors to be built to power our nation. "83 years ago, the US government and the state of Tennessee came together in the secret city of Oak Ridge to define a new nuclear future. Today, the leaders of our state and of our nation are again coming together to redefine our future. Join me on stage today to share their thoughts are Governor Lee, leading the great state of Tennessee with his vision for creating the nuclear hub in America. State Senator, a national champion for American energy independence and for Tennessee in Washington, D.C. Thanks so much. Congressman Flashman, an enthusiastic advocate of nuclear energy and American energy dominance. Commissioner McWhorter, leading Governor Lee's vision for nuclear with the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development. State Senator, a powerful voice, State Senator Yeager, a powerful voice for Project ARC and for Eastern Tennessee in the state legislature. And of course, Mayor Gooch, representing the city of Oak Ridge, this wonderful community that is unique in our nation with an outstanding nuclear culture. I would like also to welcome our key guest, Congressman Tim Burchett, Governor Lieutenant McNally, State Representative, sorry, I would like to make sure I have everybody's, State Representative Monty Fritz and Rick Scarborough, State Senator Richard Briggs, and of course, Jim Henry from Senator Hagerty's office. Thank you all for being here. We have been so welcome here in the community and in Eastern Tennessee, and Congressman Burchett, in a few weeks or in a few months, I will speak with a perfect Eastern Tennessean accent. Thank you. Thank you all. So now I would like to invite today's speakers to join me on stage and to cut the ribbon curtain, so along with Governor Lee. Governor Lee, Senator Blackburn, Congressman Flashman, Commissioner McWhorter, State Senator Yeager, and the Mayor of the City of Oak Ridge, Mayor Gooch. Please join me on the stage along with Governor Lee. stage for the next speech, and we'll all go back to our
Good morning. I'm Stuart McWhorter. I have the pleasure to serve as Commissioner of the Department of Economic and Community Development for the state of Tennessee, and just sharing the stage, I guess, a few weeks ago with Jean-Luc, and I think he's got the Tennessee colors going. He's got the tie and the socks. You didn't see the socks, but he's working on it. And I know that Tim's going to give you some lessons on how to that East Tennessee accent, right? Okay, we're excited. I might actually go to that myself, Tim. As Jean-Luc said, this today is to celebrate the opening of the company's 40-person office in Oak Ridge that will leading up to eventually the 300 employees that Orano will have on site, and we're obviously very excited about that. It's clear that Jean-Luc is committed and passionate about what's going on here in Tennessee, right here in Oak Ridge, and I've been around him quite a bit over the last year or so, and he's just got so much personality around the project. It's just infectious, really, and it's just just to see that coming right here to our state and this community is something that I'm certainly excited about. I'm going to make a few brief comments, and I know that many have already been recognized, but I also want to recognize, obviously, it's great to be with my boss, Governor Bill Lee. Jean-Luc, again, thank you. It's always nice to see Senator Blackburn here today, and thank her for her support of not only this project, but everything we do in our department, along with Congressman Chuck Fleischman, again, a great supporter of the work that we do in our department and our state. Congressman Tim Burchett, obviously, is another great supporter of our work. Mayor Gooch, thank you, sir, for your local leadership, and without that, obviously, this was not possible. And then TVA, again, just a great partner with us and all the work that they do across the state of Tennessee. And then personally, I'd like to thank my team. Some are here. Alan Borden, Deputy Commissioner Alan Borden, who really was very instrumental in getting this project landed on behalf of our department. Callie Cook, who's not here, but she was our project manager. Of course, Gary Human, East Tennessee Regional Director, along with his team, and Braden Stover, who was obviously a very instrumental part of what we do. So, and I know, again, we have many of our state legislators here, Lieutenant Governor, with all of our other members that have been recognized. Again, I'm just so thankful for you all and your support with not only what we do with our department, but obviously in the state of Tennessee. And I think that we are a state that gets recognized for being business friendly, and we've got the evidence of that, and that is clearly not possible without the leadership with our General Assembly. So thank you all for that. The establishment of the Nuclear Energy Fund to really make a historic investment was established a few years ago, and really led under Governor Bill Lee a few years ago. And I'll promise you this, and I think many of you know this, but the world is watching. The U.S. is watching what's happening right here in Tennessee, right here in Oak Ridge. And doing what we've been able to do with this fund has allowed us to attract companies like Orano, and there's so many more. I mean, we've already had 3 companies a part of our nuclear fund. We've provided some grant funding for workforce development, which obviously is very important. So it's happening. But what's also very exciting about that is we have about $15 billion worth of CapEx projects in the queue, over 2,000 jobs, and these are companies that we're talking to right now. It was already happening because of Oak Ridge, but because of Orano's decision to come here, that's really opened up a lot of conversations, and we're very excited about that. And we also want to just mention that we, as a state, were part of an $80 million grant as part of a state's match to TVA to land the nation's first small modular reactor on the Clinch River site in Oak Ridge, which you all know is a big deal for our state. Power and access to utilities are a top concern in economic development and in many of the conversations. So supporting and backing our partners such as TVA is critical for our state and for modular reaction in new nuclear. So this is something I could talk about. It's very important to our state. It's very important to economic development. But I do want to welcome our next speaker, and somebody that I've really enjoyed knowing for many, many years and having the pleasure to work for, and that's our 50th Governor, Bill Lee. Thank you.
Thank you. Sit down, please. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Jean-Luc and your entire team, thank you. I'm excited for this day and have been excited for what this means for our state and for our country. And what I want to say to you and to the entire Orano team is what you have done by making the decision to invest and to put your facility in our state has signaled to the world that the nuclear renaissance has begun, that America is going to lead in that renaissance because of the actions of President Trump, even as recently as the last few weeks. And that renaissance is going to make it possible for this country to lead the world. And that renaissance is centered in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, because in part because of the announcement of what you have made, of what you're making here today. So we thank you for that, because Oak Ridge has had a legacy for nuclear development. It's had the legacy for national security, and now it will continue to lead in legacy for the future of this country in the advancement of new nuclear technology. And why that matters to all of us, and we know this, but America is learning that we are staring down the barrel of an energy crisis in this country that is in part being created in a good way because of the advancement of AI technology. And we cannot afford to lose the AI war. And in order to do that, we cannot afford to lose the energy battle. And in order to win that battle, we have to be leaders in nuclear energy going forward. China has plans for 150 reactors in the next 10 years. We have built 2 since 1979. It is imperative that President Trump's vision for accelerating and creating an efficient process for the advancement and the development of new nuclear, that happens in this country. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen right here in Oak Ridge in Tennessee. It is a great honor for me to be standing up here among so many people who understand even more fully than I do what this means for America. There is no conversation in this country that has to do with energy independence, national security, energy dominance that doesn't include nuclear energy. And we are fortunate in this state to be at the center of that conversation. And so we welcome you, and we are grateful for your work, and we support what you are doing here. And we promise you that we will be the place that we told you we would be for your company. And you, therefore, are helping us create the place for the future of this industry. No one knows that better than Senator Marsha Blackburn. And we're fortunate not just to have her here, and I'm introducing her as the next speaker, but we're fortunate because she is a leader nationally on a number of subjects, and on frankly for our state, her leadership at the federal level and nationally is crucial, but her leadership on this issue has been and will be monumental for the partnership that's going to be required from the federal government, from the Trump administration, who understands the critical nature of this. But that partnership is going to be key to our ability to move forward with our plans to lead the country here. Her key leadership role in that is obvious, and we're honored to have you here today. If you would please come up and say a few words, Senator Blackburn.
Well, thank you all, and indeed, I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Jean-Luc, what a wonderful benchmark, not only for Orano, but also for us in Tennessee. As has been stated, President Trump has signed some executive orders with the goal and the intent to re-energize our pursuit of nuclear energy in this country. We are an energy-based economy in the United States, and we know that it is going to be an imperative that we grab the opportunity and that we do something with it. And I am so grateful that Governor Lee and Commissioner McWhorter moved forward and did the Nuclear Energy Fund, the Nuclear Energy Council, and challenged each and every one here in this auditorium today, each of our members of the General Assembly, to think differently about how we approach energy and energy generation in our state. And because of what we have with Oak Ridge and with TVA, there is no excuse for us not to lead the way and to really chart that path as how we move forward with SMRs, how we move forward with microreactors, how we put the power behind what is happening with AI, with blockchain, with quantum computing, and attract those industries here to our state so that our kids and our grandkids can dream those big dreams and have an economy right here at home where we in Tennessee can say truly, we are not only the best place in the United States to live, to work, to rear your family, we're the best place for those kids to return to, for jobs that are going to truly be 21st century jobs. So we're thrilled with that. I've had the opportunity this week to talk with some of the hyperscalers and the data centers and the Bitcoin miners that are choosing to locate in Tennessee. And Senator Hagerty has worked so diligently on these issues with me, and I am grateful for his partnership on these. We each had been invited to speak to the Bitcoin conference that is taking place this week. It's out in Las Vegas this year. Last year it was in Nashville. I told them they need to come back to Nashville. It's a better spot. And we had the opportunity to hear from and to meet with some of the Bitcoin miners that are looking to come here. The reason they're looking at Tennessee is because of water and energy, power generation. Yesterday I was in Memphis working with AI and looking at what is happening over there in what I call the digital delta, and how data centers have the ability to grow. And we have the opportunity, because of water and energy, to recruit those businesses here. And Commissioner McWhorter laid out some of the numbers of companies and what that leads to in jobs growth for our state and the significance of that. Those are great opportunities. And then when you look at what is being done here, we know that we have to tackle these issues. Right now, we have about 40,000 jobs in the state of Tennessee that are tied to nuclear energy. It brings forward $9.8 billion in revenue into our state each year. And with what we've discussed today, with Jean-Luc, with the governor, with Commissioner McWhorter, we know that there are businesses and industries that are looking to come that are going to bring many billion more each year. So looking at so many of you who are innovators that we have been working with on this issue, thank you for believing in the future. Jean-Luc, thank you for believing in Tennessee. And thank you all for including me, and it is my pleasure to bring up our Congressman Chuck Fleischmann, who is such a great partner in making certain that in the appropriations process, we get what is needed here in Oak Ridge. Thank you, Congressman.
Good morning, everyone. Jean-Luc, bonjour. Tim, I got that right. That was East Tennessee bonjour. But you forgot your ball mitt today, so I don't know if I'm going to forgive you. Tim and I play baseball. If we're out there at 5:45 in the morning, it's late. This is another great day in East Tennessee. Governor Lee, thank you so much. You and Stuart and Brandon and your team. There is not a better team in America for attracting business, whether it's nuclear or whatever it is. Thank you, sir, for leading our great state. Senator Blackburn and I have known each other for a long time, but the senator was very kind when she was in the House to make sure that I got seated in the appropriate place. And there's a relevance to this, but Senator, you have led, you have helped, you have been a champion not only for nuclear and energy, but all things Tennessee. I thank you. Well, some folks are talking about the nuclear renaissance, and I'm all in. But I've been in for 15 years. I can remember as a freshman sitting with one of our great nuclear champions, Senator Lamar Alexander, and Howard Baker, the late, great Howard Baker, and talking about the need for new nuclear and how Tennessee could and should lead. I've worked with several presidents, several administrations on this wonderful endeavor. Now, the reality is the rest of the world has moved forward, and the governor has been very apt and on point in talking about the fact that our adversaries, Russia and China, are moving ahead in this space. They're very skilled in this space, and that is true. They're a competition. But our friends and our allies are in this space as well, and they do a very good job. And when Senator Alexander asked Howard Baker to call Hal Rogers and try to get me on something called the Appropriations Committee, and more specifically the Energy and Water Appropriations Subcommittee, so that I could help maybe in the future have new nuclear happen, I said, okay. That was a wow moment. That was probably one of the most defining moments in my political career. I chair that coveted committee now, the Energy and Water Subcommittee of Appropriations. What does that mean? That means I fund the Department of Energy. And it is truly an honor to do that. But in fiscal year 2024, I think I wrote, which is probably one of the best energy and water bills for the nation. Why? We put up $900 million for SMRs. That means our great utility, and I mean our great utility at TVA, will be able to work to try to get a GE Hitachi Generation 3 reactor at Clinch River, the first SMR built in this country. That is so important. Why? It uses existing fuel, LEU. And it is so critically important that we get that done and get that built. I will say this, I could have no better partners than Chris Wright, our great Secretary of Energy. Where did he come first? He came to Oak Ridge first. He came to the great state of Tennessee first. There's a reason for that. It's our history, it's our present, and he knows it's going to be our future. Somebody else who I will be meeting with next week, a fellow by the name of Donald Trump. He is all in on nuclear. He has done a tremendous job, but he loves the great state of Tennessee. Anytime he talks with me or with Tim, he's talking about the people of our great state of Tennessee. We are poised for greatness, but it doesn't just happen. I put up in that same appropriation bill $2.7 billion so that there could be a competition for what we call HALEU. Don't mean to be too technical, but that is the new fuel. It's enriched to up to 20%. We need that for the Generation 4 reactors. Companies like Kairos, companies like X-Energy, companies like TerraPower, our new generation. So, bottom line, we are in a very competitive environment, not only with our international foes, our international friends, but across this great nation. I fund all the DOE sites. I visit them. They're passionate about what they're doing, but they don't have the great state of Tennessee. They don't have a Bill Lee, a Marsha Blackburn, a Warren Gooch, a Senator Yeager behind them. I have never seen a time like this in our country. This is our opportunity to step up and win for new nuclear, to win for our nation. But it's an opportunity. Again, Tim and I are baseball players. It's our time at the plate. We need to hit a home run. And I know with the team here today, we will get it done. Thank each and every one of you all for what you're doing. And I'm going to bring up now Senator Yeager, who's been our great partner. He's been a former county mayor of Roane County, where Orano was going to build. He is now our great state Senate leader, does so much for our Republican caucus there. Senator Yeager, thank you.
Thank you, John Luke, for including me today. It's an honor to be here with such a distinguished group of people of leadership. And I do have a couple of remarks to make, but I want to recognize a few very important people who are here in the audience, if you'll allow me. First, of course, the Speaker of the Senate, Randy McNally, who has always supported our efforts to build nuclear energy for this region. He's an extraordinary leader and a good friend, so thank you, Randy, for what you do for this region and for Tennessee. And a lot of this is done on the local level. As Chuck told you, I was a former county mayor for about 24 years, I recall, and I know that they have a very important role in what we do here. And we have two very fine mayors here today who are Anderson and Roane County, Wade Cresswell and Terry Frank. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you very much. And I'm really excited about the programs that Roane State Community College is offering, particularly the program that they're working with Department of Energy and other federal funding to a nuclear tech support program that's going to help train the people to work in the tech positions that are going to be created by what we're talking about today. Dr. Chris Whaley, thank you for your leadership. But I'm here today to welcome and take note of Orano's continued investment in our region with the opening of the office that we cut the ribbon for earlier in the program. A new 40-person office right here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And it's very important that we do this because this office marks an important step forward in the development of a multi-billion-dollar Project Ike uranium enrichment facility just 10 miles down the road from here in Roane County, Tennessee. And it's this office that will house the engineers, the project managers, and the licensing staff, and provide the support needed for the 300 jobs that is projected to be hired there at the enrichment facility as it is built. It also reinforces Tennessee's leadership in the nation's clean energy future. And I want to stop right there with this statement. What we do today reinforces Tennessee's leadership in the nation's clean energy future. And one of those leaders, when we write the history of what we're doing here today, there will be a chapter about Bill Lee and what he's done to spark interest in this very important industry, and what it can do for this nation in so very many ways. I remember being in a meeting with Governor Lee and the leadership from both houses about 3 years ago, where he offered his vision then, that day, of creating a thriving ecosystem for nuclear energy to grow in Tennessee. And not only did he offer that vision, he stepped up to the plate to see that it happened with subsequent appropriations to the budget. It was his leadership that that contributed to finding Orano a home in Roane County and Oak Ridge. So, Governor, I'm so very grateful for what you've done for this state. Thank you. Orano's decision to grow its workforce here speaks of the strength of our state's workforce. I alluded to that a little bit earlier with some of the exciting programs at Roane State to train our workforce. Also our infrastructure and long-standing role in nuclear innovation. And as Orano, Jean-Luc, celebrates its 60 years in the United States, we're proud, we are so very proud, that Tennessee continues to play a central role in shaping the future of domestic nuclear energy. Well done, team. We have all worked together to come to this moment today. It is a watershed event for East Tennessee, and indeed the nation. We have every reason to be excited about the future of Tennessee. God bless this great state, and God bless our great nation. Thank you. Come on up here, Mayor. Oh. I get the job, or the pleasure, excuse me, not the task, the pleasure of introducing Warren Gooch, the mayor of Oak Ridge. Mayor, come on up here. Now look, I wrote an introduction to him, and I'm not leaving the stage till I read it, okay? No. I have the privilege to, there are other mayors in the audience too. We're blessed with good city mayors. I work with Mayor Gooch. When we're in session, there's hardly a week that goes by that he doesn't call me about an issue that's important to Oak Ridge, and we work with you and resolving those issues. But Warren Gooch is a good fit for Oak Ridge.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and on behalf of the 34,000 citizens of Oak Ridge, I want to offer my congratulations to John Luke and his team on the opening of their Tennessee office here in Oak Ridge. Here in Oak Ridge. Since their announcement last September, they have focused one day at a time on the mission every day. And the mission is jump-starting uranium enrichment capacity here in the United States, which is absolutely critical to strengthening our national security and growing our domestic nuclear industry. We all understand the complexity of addressing energy independence. However, our security and the healing of our environment demands our collective action. The world looks to the United States for leadership, and for over 80 years, our country has relied on Oak Ridge for solutions to protect freedom and enhance the lives of our citizens, and working collaboratively going forward as we will do, and as part of the Tennessee Valley Corridor meeting that's going on this week. Working collaboratively, we will continue to do that. And let me just reiterate and continue the great work, Governor, that you have started and put in place. And we thank you sincerely for all your efforts. In my opinion, Orano will continue to add to the legacy of greatness and accomplishments, not only in Oak Ridge, but in our state. For years, you all have heard me say, great things happen in Oak Ridge every day. And that Oak Ridge was created to be great, not average. There will be more great days ahead, and with your help, I guarantee it. And at this, John Luke, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Thank you all for your support and participation today. Today, we stand on historic ground, where American ingenuity once unlocked the power of the atom. Secretary of Energy, Chris Wright, has correctly stated that artificial intelligence is the Manhattan Project of our time. As reminded by Governor Lee, we can lead in AI only if we can power AI. Having that in mind and Project ACT in Oak Ridge, we step forward on a new mission of equal consequence. We are key American partners, UCOR, Kiewit, SpectraTech, BGS, and many others to join our wonderful project. Our team members of Orano in this new office are developing the next generation enrichment facility that will provide significant quantity of enriched uranium to fuel not just reactors, but the future, powering new technologies that will define the next century. America needs more and new nuclear power. The world needs more and new nuclear power. New nuclear power needs Tennessee and Project ACT in Oak Ridge. Thank you all.